then maybe it's now, in my opinion, the game ended when people started talking about it on social media. When it no longer became. So I think now, Troy, you could do a new movie, a new doc. Maybe we'll do something. The game is officially over now, and that is not to say that it's not. People are always gonna practice vice and use things to make them feel better, self-medicate. But the game, as far as it being for a particular group that you had to be plugged in, you had to know somebody, any form of an internship. When drugs and guns are seen on social media,
right?
When the authorities have the ability to have facial recognition and cameras at every stoplight,
it's just not even.
The game that we used to know or that we chronicle and do,
Right.
that game don't exist no more.
No, we might as well be talking about Jesse James.
yeah. That just doesn't that doesn't exist. And I guess though, if you're clever enough to stay low key and stay off the grid, I guess you could have some of the. But I can't imagine this kind of environment where every time we meet up. Because I think back, you joked, I remember the first time I told you, I look back on life, man, and I was involved in a conspiracy and committed like 5 felonies every day. That's all me and my friend. I have a hell of a peer group. Love you guys. But, if you look back on our youth, that's what we did.
Yeah.
Every day we met, figured out where to bag, how to move looking back on it, didn't think we were involved in a daily conspiracy or ongoing criminal enterprise, but that's what it was. But back at Juanita's, and shout out to Teresa's Bar and Grill and all of them over there. Back at Juanita's, which those of you in the D old enough remember Juanita's Institution, the bar grill right there on Schaefer by side of the hospital. Nobody was taking pictures of us meeting up at Juanita's. Nobody was taking pictures at the Cotillion Club when CT and Eddie A.B. No. I mean, no, people just didn't realize there was no instances before that, so there was no platforms to post it on.
I'm just saying, just a Polaroid. That's still kind
no. If somebody, because you could look real odd pulling out a Polaroid camera and start taking pictures back in the day. People be like,
"Yeah,
you got a camera in your purse, really?
Really?
And you ain't on vacation? Maybe we need to have a talk." But anyway, food for thought, family. So, is the game over? If it is over, when did it end? Or are we just, while we're crime historians, are we old and we just are missing something? We love your feedback. We love your feedback on that. And I want to do a chronicle. I'm an ex-sports guy. And we went over some of the list. I want to list and categorize like family, like a first team, second team, and honorable mention hustlers from each era. Because again, we don't attempt to glorify this stuff. We just like to chronicle, and some of these guys did do some positive things in their community, and whether they did positive or negative things, all of these guys impacted their community.
Absolutely.
So in the 70s, the list that I got and I miss, and we want to do some homework. If I do miss any of these players, you guys know of some players that deserve to be recognized, and we're going to do some work on. The all-city team we got from the 70s, of course, we got Eddie Jackson. We got Frank Nitti. We spoke about that. Leroy Collier, Leroy Canton, Richard Wakefield, Henry Marzette, John Clausen, Texas Slim, Big Son. Who else they have in that article? They had your man Lester Ramsey. What was the lawyer there? They had
you talking about LeBlanc, James LeBlanc.
James LeBlanc. They had Maurice Downs. Jesse James.
Yes.
But if you guys got anybody else for us to research, because we're going to put together a first team all-city, second team all-city, an honorable mention project from hustlers from the 70s. On the 80s, this was an era just, again, ripe with characters. We got on that list out the 80s. We got Butch Jones and YBI. We got the Raymond Peoples YBI. We got the Wonderful Wayne YBI. You got Pep. You got Strata Butch. You got LB Buxton of the Pony Crew. You got the PA Crew. You got Otis and Black Butch. You had Big 50. You had the Curry Boys, Best Friends. White Boy Rick, Big Ed Hansen. You got Doc Davis. You had KK and Lawrence. You had the Boyer family. The 80s were just the game it got really, really, really wild. But we want to rank in some of these people, if any of those names you guys want us to really do some research on, because we do have a list of interviews that we're going to start lining up, and we're weaving some of these people, just a little teaser. Some of these storylines are going to get woven into the movie that we're doing. Mm-hmm. So, and then in the 90s, what did we have? In the 90s, we had my pops, Courtney, what he was doing, of course, with the Pakistani rug. You got with BMF. We're going to still take credit for them in Detroit as Detroiters, even though they were really doing their thing in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. By then,
Demetrius hit
you had Demetrius spill over. Demetrius Holloway, I guess he could go all city in the 80s and definitely in the 90s. I think a couple of them organizations, PA, could go over from the 80s into the 90s. So, yeah, we need some more characters. There are some people out of the 90s again. Just a little fun project want to have. You know, we're historians. We're crime historian geeks when it comes to that stuff, and I like your input. So again, if you got some good characters out of the 70s, 80s, or 90s here in the D, let us know. We're going to start doing our rankings and put together that list of who's first team, second team, and honorable mention hustlers. Hustler champs, kind of like drink champs, but not drink champs. Hustler champs. Give them their roses while they're here. And before we get out of here, there was some Q&A and some corrections that I was going through the comments.
Okay.
And that we should do.
Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to everybody. I think this one came from Elizabeth, the big one. She noted and was correctly, I had stated when we did the Nikki Barnes story, that the story that got Nikki hot was done in the New Yorker magazine, and it was actually the Sunday Times.
Okay.
The Sunday New York Times magazine covered that Mr. Untouchable story, which ended up leading to Nikki. So thanks again to Elizabeth, the big one. Lamont Mann asked about, and we did the retraction or correction. Doo-Wop is still alive, thank God. How he's doing and what he's doing seems to be keeping a really low profile, but I think we had implied in that story about him in LA RIP, but no, Doo-Wop, and yes, thank you, Lamont Mann, for that. Doo-Wop is still living, just for the record, one last time. Mr. Martin at 2030X asked, what if 50% of black drug dealers had lawyers and financial advisors like the mob? What do you think about that, Lewis? What would the world be like if 50% of the big black guys had financial advisors?
Well, it would be transference of wealth after a certain point. They would reach. It would be a lot more like the Jewish mafia, if you ask me.
I think you're 1,000% correct. I think you'd have a lot less second-generation hustlers and a lot more second-generation lawyers and doctors and business people. I think our communities, what we often forget when we're telling these stories about people in our community who make so much money and make it quick, that often they're coming from impoverished backgrounds and financial literacy, and people be like, what happened to the money? Well, first of all, a little secret, you gotta get some money to find out you don't have much money.
That's right.
And I say this all humility. I mean, I know $1 million sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but it ain't.
That's right. You will blow through $1 million within 6 months.
I mean, okay, put it like this. There's $1,000, it's 365 days in a year.
Yeah.
$1,000 a day means you spend $365,000. If you spend $1,000 a day just for 3 years, that's $1 million.
But then you got all the unforeseen
Oh,
circumstances.
we ain't bought no house. You ain't bought no car. Your
Right.
grandma didn't
Thousand-
need.
right.
Your grandmama didn't need no money. Your sister didn't need no money. Your cousin didn't need no money.
The
There's nobody
surgeries
you know
didn't come up.
because you come from this black family where everybody's already wealthy and no one is late or behind on rent. No one's car note is due. No, none of that.
Right.
None of that. None of that. Everyone is already.
Right. They're all set.
They're all set by the time you hit your lick. Well, we know that ain't the case.
Come on.
I mean, most of that money, that first meal was already spent before you even hustled up on it.
Big time.
But so that's a great question, Martin, 2030X.
We also had Paulie Dibbs. I just wanted to send a shout out to him, one of our commenters that had insights into our subject matter about Basil Miller. He brought to my attention a case, one of the cases that I believe it was the Kissinger case.
Okay.
And it kind of led me down the rabbit hole, and I found it. But big up to you, Paulie, if you get a chance, hit us up. 'Cause
Yeah,
may
thank you,
know-
Paul, for sure. Yeah, we need to link up with him. That was
Yeah.
some good looking.
Yeah, big
and you know
time.
we'll cover a lot of that. Will be in the Doc Motown Mafia Reloaded. But again, we're gonna get down the aisle. We got a whole lot to do, but that project are really doing a full thing on Basil Miller's life and times.
Yeah.
The audience is really gonna get a chance to get a peek into it with the Reloaded, but fascinating life.
Oh, yeah.
Fascinating life and times. Shout out to Basil the Third.
Big up, Basil.
Yeah, we'll be hollering at you real soon. He was great. Shout out to the whole Miller family down the island. Shout out to everybody down there. Again, you guys appreciate the hospitality and love you guys showed us down there.
Yeah.
Inrid Cole 7596. Did I know that GD, the gangster disciples, had infiltrated the military and the White House? No, I did not know that. I do know one of my security guys from Atlanta, shout out to Big Mike 69, is part of that organization. And what I do know about them is, I think to call them a gang is a misnomer.
Yeah.
That is a business organization.
Yeah, that's
That's
true
different.
organization.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
a different situation.
Yeah.
Someone wanted to know, should we do a whole episode on Shemeka? That was the young lady who had the tragic end in that doo-wop, Nikki Barnes, Love Triangle.
Yes, yes.
Let's see, maybe if I can get, like we're going to bring in some females to get involved with. I'd really like to hear that story chimed in with a female perspective. But good look on that. Derek Bailey, 213. Can we do some stories about Fort Worth, Texas that you guys tells us? Derek says they got a rich crime history also down there in the dirty South in Texas.
Would not doubt it.
Send us some info. Send us
Yeah.
some info on anything. I mean, any of you guys out there, if you got
Yeah.
some untold stories, like we like to give credit where credit is due for people in this life and how they impacted their communities. And obviously, there's lots of communities that, unlike Detroit and New York, where we did so much of our activities as a family over the last 50 years. We're open to that. So yeah, no, I ain't throwing no shade on Fort Worth. You give us some leads, and we'll put the research team on it, and we'll get to coming. Ultra 3934 asked us about Ark Bark Prey out of Newark. Already started doing some research on that, so that story will be coming up on Mr. Ark Bark Prey out of Newark, New Jersey. I think he did get chronicled. I've been able to find a little bit of stuff on him. I think he was chronicled in one of them, either Feds or Dime Diva, but we're going to do a deep dive on that, so that's a good look on that. And the brother who is unfortunately still locked up, called Boy George, one of the youngest guys in New York to really get his thing going. We will be doing a story on him too coming up, so shout out to them. So shout out to all the subscribers, all the people in the comment sections. We do read them. Can't get back to everybody always as prompt, but trust me, your inputs are appreciated and all of that.
And I wanted to send a special thank you out to Wise Guys Production. I just got, just earlier today, I checked my email, bigbossfilmworks@gmail.com. His is bigbossfilmworks@yahoo.com. You sent me 5 tracks for our opening theme, and I will review them. And if anyone else has any, we are taking submissions for instrumentals or even some flow about Big Boss Filmworks. and something that we could use on the channel, you will get your shine.
Awesome. So again, if you guys want to throw in Annie up, we got a lot going on. Motown Mafia Reloaded, Motown Mafia Part 2 coming out. Got a couple different working titles. This whole thing working with screenwriters and guys, trust me, family, it's more than a notion when you're doing it yourself. But
For sure.
we'll only be a virgin one time at this.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen. So anyway, anybody who wants to give us some support, that's $ Big Boss Filmworks. We'll give you something. Give us your info along with your contribution, and may have. Looks like we're going to be going to Asia soon.
Yes.
Get some things going. So we'll be stepping up our
Africa as well.
Yeah. Shout out to brother David Bishop, who's doing some great work over there. We won't leak that because, but yeah, shout out to his brother David Bishop, and he's doing some great work over. Cousin Ron. I'm taping, Cousin Ron. I'm taping. I'll give you a call right back.
Oh, good. I know.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, so shout out to anybody and everybody who wants to help us out. Again, that's $ Big Boss Filmworks. Cash App, right?
Yeah, Big Boss Filmworks, the Cash App. $ Big Boss Filmworks. I put a link up on the show.
Yeah, but yeah, this movie thing, guys. I know it's been
And
long.
also,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry
No,
to
go
cut
ahead.
you off, but right down there, if you are checking us out on Facebook and you'd like to contribute, you can hit the star. That helps us out as well.
Right, and where can they find us at Facebook? You guys, please.
Big Boss Filmworks USA on Facebook.
And we're also on TikTok,
We are on TikTok.
We
I
also-
drop talks all the time.
and we also on IG.
IG, and soon Motown Mafia show will be on Rumble.
Won't stop, can't stop. To quote the philosopher Sean
Everywhere.
Combs.
Everywhere.
And they don't be nowhere, but I didn't say that. we be
Couldn't resist.
we be everywhere. We ain't mad at nobody. Man, love you guys. Appreciate the support. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing. Again, if you got some guys, some chronicles, people from this life you want us to chronicle and do some research, just please shout it, give us, hit us up in the comments. Let us know. Keep you guys updated on the doc and on the movie situation. And
For sure.
it is what it is.
It is indeed.
We talked about vinyl. We told him to go on Davison.
Oh, you
Massive Apparel.
gotta drop Blazing Hookahs.
Oh yeah, and right next to Vinyls is the hookah shop, Blazing Hookahs. Again, that's right on Davison, between Linwood and Dexter. So he's got the flyest stuff for men and women apparel wise right there at Vinyls. But then right next door is Blazing Hookah, hottest hookah shop in the city. Also, they got some rental space in the back where you can have your hookah parties, whatever kind of blazing parties you might want to have.
We must do a show there.
Way overdue, Vinyl family.
I saw him just about 5 days ago. I was up there at Bono's, and he says, "I've been waiting on y'all." So
No,
you
we
will
there. In
see a
fact,
show there.
maybe this is episode 66. So thank you guys again. Episode 66. We'll be doing something real special for the next. I guess when we get to 75, we'll do something special. Episode 75, and do something really, really big.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those big interviews we've been putting on ice will break out for episode 75.
Big
and
up,
then a big one.
up, yeah.
One of the big interviews we got charted up we'll
Yeah.
do for episode 100.
Ooh.
But yeah, we need to holler at do something live on location.
Yeah.
Shoot a show from Vinyls right down Davison. So yeah, it's all good, fam. Again, we appreciate you guys. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. Won't stop, can't stop. Chime in, let us know anything you want to talk about. Any players from your town or your city who has not gotten the recognition you think they need, just holler at your man. So it's your man, CRB Jr.